Welcome guys. In today's video we're going to be talking about the concept known as the file system. So basically file system is all the structure basically of the Unix operating system, and it contains all the file directories. I guess you guys have encountered file system in a Linux environment. In the Windows environment. It's in the Unix environment. It's kind of similar. So the basic idea is that in the Unix environment, similar to Windows, it has a list of entire files and stuff like that, and it's organized into a structure. The structure is known as a tree. So when we refer to file system, it's just referred to as like a tree. You can imagine a tree and stuff like that. So, but sort of like this inverted tree where the root is at the how the computer science people or like in the textbooks and stuff like that, how to describe it is the root as at the top and the leaves are at the bottom, and each leaf has like a node and stuff like that. But if you want to imagine the conventional tree, it's upside down kind of tree. But anyways, the technical term associated with the Linux file system is known as a tree, right? So basically, there are a number of files, directories, whatever, right? And then at any point of time, you are at a particular spot in the given file system. And let's just open up the terminal. If you guys remember, it's Control Alt T, or you can type into the search bar. But I would just like to use Control Alt T for short, right? So so at any point of time, you are in a particular part of the file system. The way you can view the particular specific location that you are at is by the command pwd, which is print working directory, or I think present working directory, either one. But basically, you want to know where you are at in the file directory, and if you do pwd, it gives you that you are in the home directory that you're currently at, right? Very good. Okay, so another thing that you might want to do is might want to navigate down the different levels in the file system. So use the command cd for that, which is known as change directory. And change directory, if you takes in arguments. Remember in video 1 we talked about having there's the general format is like this: command and has options and then arguments. Okay, good. Okay, so then if you have the ls command, right? Sorry, my bad. If you have cd command and it can take in arguments, which is the directory that you want to change it into. But let's just see what it does if you don't pass any arguments. Press enter. Surprisingly, it just changes into the home directory. So cd by itself is by default changes into the home directory without any arguments. Alternatively, you can also specify cd tilde, and the tilde, what it specifies is you want to change directory into the home directory. Like both cd and cd, the tilde do essentially the same thing, which is nothing but change the present working directory to the home directory. Now, before we jump more into CD, let's just explore an important concept known as a path name. A path name is basically a thing that specifies a location in the file system. So there are two types of path names. One is known as absolute path names, another one is known as relative path names. An absolute path name is a way of specifying to the Linux system exactly where you are, or exactly where the file is at. Right? That involves typing the entire location of exactly where you are. Right? A relative path name is specifying relative to something. It could be relative to the parent directory, relative to the present directory. So an example would be if a friend asks you where your house at, then you can specify the entire address. Or if your friend knows a close by neighbor that he also knows, you can just say, I just live next to my friend's house that you already know. So in that way, your friend already knows where you exactly live. So basically, two ways of specifying is absolute and the relative path name. So let's just explore that. So with cd, you can specify an absolute path name. Let's give an example. So cd user bin, right? That's an absolute path name. It's because it's saying where the bin folder is exactly located. It's exactly located in the user bin. So if you type in that, it changes directory to user bin. Notice one interesting quality here. The shell reflects the directory that you're in. So tilde directs home, indicates home directory, and then the shell changes here to user bin, which indicates that it's currently user bin, right? Or alternatively, you can specify uh, a relative path name. And relative path name is specified. There are two symbols that it's really useful to know. One is the dot, and the other one is double dot. So basically, the idea is that say you want to now change the directory to user, which is nothing but the parent directory of the bin, right? So you can change directory user, but then again it's kind of obvious. You want to change to the parent directory. You say you want to don't now it's just user, which is 3 letters. But say it was like huge directory name. You can just do cd dot double dot. The double dot is a special symbol in the Linux environment, which indicates the parent directory. So this command is saying change directory to the parent directory, and now it's a parent directory. There's also a symbol known as single dot, which refers to the current directory it's in. So say if you do cd single dot, it's kind of stupid, but it just changes to a current directory that's it's in. So we export absolute and relative path names, so you can navigate any levels within the directory. One more thing, important thing, is that at the topmost level of the file system, there's this special user known as a root, and up the topmost level is the root directory, and that's the topmost level. And it's kind of important for you guys to know, and that's it. A couple of things I had to mention about the login prompt, or sorry, the terminal that I forgot to mention in the first video, which is that here the $ indicates that it's in the normal user mode, and sometimes it's in the pound sign. The pound sign says in the super user or root or privilege mode. So in that way, that's an indication of saying that you're in root mode or privilege mode. Okay, and besides this, I also want to mention that behind the operating system, there are actually 6 more terminals in existing out there. Those are known as virtual terminals. And the way you can access those virtual terminals is by the shortcut keys Control Alt F1. Control Alt F1 gives you the first login terminal, Control Alt F2 gives you the second login terminal, and so on up till Control Alt F6, which gives you the 6th terminal. If you want to return back to your original terminal, you just do Control Alt F7, which gives you back to the original login, not login, sorry, the graphical user interface or the workspace that you are in. So basically, these virtual terminals exist behind the operating system, and it's really useful. If you want to, I don't know, do backend stuff or like use them in case of emergencies, basically. But I just want you guys to know that it exists out there, the virtual terminals. So hope this video helped. Oh yeah, one more thing about the term called mounted. In the Linux environment, what you can do is if you have a file system, you can attach a directory to the leaves, basically, and basically attach it so that Unix will recognize that particular folder. And that process of attaching a unique entire an entire folder onto the Linux environment is known as mounting. So it's really common to see mounted storage devices. It's really common to see. Usually see storage devices mounted onto the Linux environment. That's a common term they use, mounted. So I just want you guys to be familiar with the terms, and hope this video helped. And thanks for watching. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys stick around. Thanks.